How'd you know?
The atmosphere there has a darkness like no other.
Okay. Does that look real?
In that particular shot, no, actually. it doesn't really, right? When you look close.
You need to be more blue.
Well,
you know,
no.
but does he look real?
No, none of
Does
us.
she look
Something looks very off about this.
This video helped spark an internet-wide discussion over Marvel's VFX. Whistleblowers came forward and the media began investigating Marvel, which has repeatedly been criticized for not giving VFX workers suitable working conditions. Film critics believe that VFX artists have begun to get sloppy, especially when it comes to new projects that have been heavily criticized for their VFX work, such as Thor: Love and Thunder and She-Hulk. Marvel does not have their own VFX department and rather contracts workers and companies that are heavily underpaid and overworked.
This all seems horrible.
Marvel also does not give VFX teams adequate amounts of time to complete the immense amount of works that go into the visual effects for the movies. When speaking to Gizmodo, a VFX artist who has worked on a number of Marvel projects explained they found out that the release date of Avengers Endgame was moved up by the company through a press release, not directly from Marvel, which now meant that they had a month less to make movie-ready effects. Based on this, as well as other reports, asking VFX workers to deliver completed projects without sufficient time seems to be a recurring pattern for Marvel Studios. Critics have begun to realize that the VFX workers are not the ones to blame for poor VFX work, but rather Marvel Studios and their short deadlines. On a series of Reddit threads, VFX employees have been speaking out about how stressful it is working for Marvel and that they are not paid equivalent to the amounts of work they put in. Due to these stressful work environments, some are beginning to search for work with companies that do not take on Marvel projects at all. On Twitter, one user spoke about his experience working for Marvel and that they ultimately caused him to leave the VFX industry, finishing off by stating that Marvel is a horrible client to work for.
It's no secret that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has gained a strong reputation with an equally powerful fan base. Fans around the world anxiously await each movie. However, with the finale of releases in Phase 4 of the MCU, fans were more than disappointed, and it shows. Production-wise, VFX issues with the newer films led fans to begin looking at the ethical issues surrounding Marvel's work.
I don't trust a guy without a dark side.
VFX workers have come out explaining how brutal it is. One said, "I've seen way too many colleagues break down after being overworked." The studio requests complicated and expensive edits over VFX at a rate faster than the work can be done. Sources have told IO9 that there are cry rooms for employees struggling to meet deadlines. With a merciless time crunch for VFX creators on Marvel's staff, a lack of sleep inevitably decreases the quality of work that is produced, and fans are not blind to it. As Emily stated, it all began with Taika Waititi's viral video that got fans talking, primarily sharing their voices over social media. One fan on Twitter wrote, "I feel like they're rushing Phase 4, while an Instagram meme page said, "I stopped caring about the MCU after Endgame." It's only a matter of time before social media posts like these will begin to have a larger effect on the box office status.
Since Disney owns Marvel, they decided to make superhero shows exclusive to their streaming service Disney+, with a new show hitting the platform every few months. While some call this oversaturation, it seems to be working for Disney financially. Subscribers to Disney Plus before the Marvel shows started were at 90 million and is now over 150 million. The shows don't seem to be slowing down, and this may be hurting Marvel. Miss Marvel, one of their newest shows on the platform, was the lowest watched show they've ever had, having 775,000 viewers in the first 5 days compared to Loki at 2.5 million.
Oh dear. Is she dead?
Another, She-Hulk, was one of the worst rated and publicly disliked out of their newest shows. Some titles such as Black Widow, Eternals, and Shang-Chi underperformed, earning no more than 440 million. Because of COVID, we can't point to the VFX issues as the main driver. This is certainly a correlation, but not necessarily a causation. On the other hand, Marvel movies' box office do seem to be making a comeback with big movies like No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness. While fans and critics may be having second thoughts about the Marvel movies, it is yet to be reflected in the theatrical box office. In the end, it's really just the public's perception of that Marvel is going downhill, but financially they're not.
As long as profits aren't greatly affected, then Disney won't start caring about these ethical concerns. We can analyze another industry that was stuck in a similar position to see what options VFX artists have. In 2018, there was an outcry from the video game industry over crunch. A former Rockstar employee said, "If you don't show up on the weekend, you're accused of not doing your share and will be constantly harassed." This toxic culture gives employees no other choice than to crunch, and the long hours away from family takes a heavy mental toll. This happens at nearly all major game publishers. Luckily, this year, employees at Raven Software voted to unionize. This is a tiny fraction of the industry, but an important first step. There's merit for this to continue, as a survey last year found that half of workers in the tech sector wish to unionize. Though the problem is far from fixed. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is just the most recent example of a game plagued by toxic crunch culture. Returning to the VFX field, they are the only major department in Hollywood that is not unionized. Like the video game industry, VFX artists are trying to unionize, like joining the IATSE, but no victory yet.
How do we do this?
As a team.
This year's reports of Marvel VFX artists show that these workers need to be respected for their time, work, and be given the chance to collectively bargain for better conditions if their situation is to be fixed at all.
With Marvel being the multi-billion-dollar company that it has become, it has opened the doors for more backlash and criticism from the fans that have grown to love the MCU and everything it creates. Fans are quick to recognize and react when the films that they love seem to be going down in quality, as they are disappointed by the company that has previously been held up to such a high standard. CGI in films is praised and entrancing when you cannot tell that it is CGI. This goes away when the CGI is obvious and ruins the flow of the movie. MCU has the financial status that in theory would translate to better VFX effects and creativity, but it has become quite the opposite. Within the Spider-Man franchise, Spider-Man No Way Home was a movie where fans could instantly see the decrease in the visuals and the creativity in the plot compared to the previous films. As fans have grown up with these films being prominent parts of their childhood, the decrease in quality and excitement surrounding the movies creates a bad taste in the fans' mouths and makes it more and more difficult to be as big of a fan as they once were. As for the future of Marvel, they have shown fans that they are always thinking about the movies ahead and where this franchise is headed. The movies that have been confirmed to come out include Captain America, New World Order, Marvel's Thunderbolts, Marvel's Fantastic Four, Avengers The Kang Dynasty, and Avengers Secret Wars. The slow tease and release of these titles keep fans on their toes and keep up the excitement that has been lost in recent years. While there is a lot of speculation of up-and-coming films, fans hope that Marvel will return to its core of what the fans know and love about it and focus more on the content and quality of their films more so than the quantity.